Hello and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to test out 4 sets of acrylic markers that I got from Amazon. Now they are different brands and I thought it would be really fun to compare them. The first one, they covered the brand name, but it's Imuki, whatever. And this has a set of 18 colors. Now I went for a variety. I tried to go for fine and broad nibs, and this one has fine tips, so I'm really excited to see how much detail we actually get out of them, how opaque they are and how easy they are to use. Now the packaging is quite simple. It shows some details on the back and shows like some example pictures on the front, and on the inside we just have the loose markers and like a pamphlet thing. I was actually really surprised. These are pump activation and they activated super quickly. They have these kind of like plastic channel nibs, and paint just flew in there like really fast. Normally when you have the other like filter type ones, it takes a lot of time, but with these it just took like 3-4 pumps and it was already running down there super fast. And they were actually quite juicy and easily to apply. And they didn't really scratch the paper, which surprised me since the nib was this hard, but yeah, from the acrylic flow it must have like helped that. And here you can see all of the swatches. Now some of them aren't quite dry, but you can see the shine of the silver and gold, which is quite nice, and you can see how opaque they are. Also, they didn't really feather too much on the paper, which is also great because that means there's not too much water in them. And yeah, overall I'm really happy with the colors. Next up is Art Axe, and they have a set of 24 acrylic markers, and the markers are dual-sided, so dual-tipped. One has like a brush nib and one has like a smaller nib, and yeah, they are also in cardboard, but this box looks a bit more high quality, I have to say. But yeah, let's just swatch them. What really surprised me in a pleasant way was that I didn't have to activate these. You couldn't even like push in the nibs. They are super soft, more like your standard felt tip pens you get for like calligraphy or something like that. But the colors still were really opaque and nice. I noticed a little bit more feathering than I would have loved to on the fine tips, but it's fine. So you cannot really get like really detailed, but you can still get quite thin lines with these. And I have to say, the white on both of these marker sets so far has been pretty opaque and nice, so I'm sure you can use those as accent colors for other artwork as well. Next up is the Uhuru marker set. This one was the one I originally wanted to get and which inspired this whole video. And they come with a lot of markers. There's in total there's 30 markers, and all of them have like this cardboard insert that holds them in place. And these are also dual tips. Now these I actually had to activate, which took quite a bit longer since these are like a stiffer felt tip, and they come with like a round tip and like a more like fine tip. But yeah, it took a while for the colors for the acrylic paint to actually run down the nibs. So yeah, activating all 30 of them on both sides took a while. I in the end found that I could activate like 3 to 4 at the same time, but even after like getting some of the color down, it took a while for some of them to actually run down the nib fully. So I had to like wait for a little while until all of the nibs were activated, until I could actually draw with them. Now, although there's 30 markers in the set, they actually also included neon markers, which is 7 of them, and they included 8 of these metallic markers. So we got a blue, green, yellow, orange, pink, a dark pink and purple as our neon markers, and we got a lot of these really pretty metallic markers which are super shiny. Now the effect markers, so the neon and the metallic, actually were quite opaque, but the rest of the other colors besides the black is like super washed out and like really translucent, and the nibs actually destroyed the paper quite a bit, sadly, although they felt quite soft. yeah, so far I'm not too happy with these markers. The fine nib got some details though, but since it's very liquid, it actually bled out quite a bit into the paper. Now the last markers we have are these G Meow markers, and they come in a set of 36. So this is the largest set, and actually they also just come loose in this cardboard box, which is actually like a really soft cardboard, but these are also dual tipped. And as you might have noticed from the unboxing, they're also already activated. Now one of the nibs is like a round one, and one of them is like a fine tip again. They're like softer felt tips, so yeah, you definitely don't want to press them too hard or they will break and fray. But you could get a lot of nice detail with the fine point, and the larger point is, I think, quite nice for dotting probably too, because as I said, it's round, so you can get a variety of really round dots. As for the colors, on paper they were really nice. I didn't get any fraying of the paper, and I didn't get much bleeding of them at all, and they were really opaque. But now let's do another test with some plastic. I'm going in the same order as I did before with the markers, so let's see how they hold up. Now the Emoki markers went down really easily and smoothly, and it was quite a pleasant experience to draw with them, as was the Acrylic markers. Like the broad and the fine nib both did really well, and there was not much streaking at all in between strokes. Sadly, the Uhu didn't do too well. Now the colors laid down pretty decently on the plastic, but you could see, because they're so watery, there was a lot of separation. So the colors actually like had some darker and lighter spots, and they were actually quite translucent, sadly. As for the G Meow ones, they went down really easily too, but you can definitely see like a lot of the line work. So after they dried, you can see like also some color variations, although they are way more opaque than the Ohu. I also wanted to see if it was just the purple marker, so I tested the blue one and later on other ones, and practically most of them weren't opaque at all on the plastic, sadly. It has a kind of nice watercolor effect, but if you want to buy acrylic markers that are opaque, I don't think this is the right type of marker to use, sadly. So here again you can see the paper examples close up, and as you can see, Emoki and Acrylic look super nice, and here you can really see how washed out the Ohuhu is. And yeah, overall I have to say G Meow is the best marker for paper, I think, because it was really opaque, pleasant to apply on the paper, and it has a really nice variety of colors with the 36 markers. So overall, that's my favorite for paper. If you want to go for plastic drawing, I would say go for the Emoki or the Acrylic. Sadly, although Ohuhu normally makes like a lot of nice products, like I quite liked all of their alcohol markers, they're really, really good. Sadly, I cannot really suggest buying them. They weren't just pleasant at all to work with. It was hard to activate them, the colors weren't opaque, and I had the feeling like the nibs would fray slightly in the front when I activated them. Now, a plus side of the Ohuhu is that they were quite cheap, and they had the effect markers, which were actually quite good in comparison to the other colors. So if you want like good metallic markers or like the neon colors, they were actually pretty decent, but yeah, as I said, the rest of the markers weren't that good. And although they come with spare nibs, it's just sad to see how like soft the nibs were and how easy, like if you overactivated and pressed them too strongly, how like easy they would fray. Now, I also wanted to make an artwork with these, just to test out how well they work in application. And I chose for those to use actually the Acrylic and the Emoki markers, because they work best on plastic for me, so I thought they might also work best on silicone. And I just wanted to customize this Nintendo Switch Lite case that I had laying around. Now, this had quite a lot of use already, so it is a bit yellow, but that's totally fine. And as you can see, I'm drawing Wolfling from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which is, by the way, my favorite Zelda game. I added quite a bit layers of varnish as separation layers between the layers, because I wasn't really sure if I would add another like layer of other acrylics, if they would like dissolve the layer of the pens, which they would have done. I actually did some tests on that side. And I found to actually go against that, you can just use fixative, or I guess also hairspray. I used like 3 layers of fixative. It will still smudge if you like apply it heavy-handedly, but I applied it really liberally and tried to like apply a thick layer so the brush wouldn't touch it too much, and that actually helped. I had little to no smudging. I also wanted to add some effect with the clear varnish, because I saw that there was a border around where I put it, and I think it turned out really nicely. Now you cannot really see it on camera, but in person you can see I added a little Triforce over the charging port and like a lot of like flash kind of shaped lines around Wolfling, and I think it looks really cool actually, the effect it has, although on camera it kind of looks like I scratched the case for some reason. But yeah, I promise it looks way better in person. Overall, I had quite a bit of fun trying these markers out, and I have to say, of course, these are cheaper alternatives to Posca. Now, Poscas are pretty good, but I'm sure that some of these actually could be a great alternative for them. Now, I didn't really want to buy Poscas for this video, because as I said, they are really expensive, and overall, I spent a lot on all of the sets of markers, but just to give you a breakdown of the price. So the Imuki, which by the way I noticed I bought them as from a brand called Rate, at least in the description it was called that, came as Imuki, but it's fine, it's the same markers basically, yes, on the pictures. When I bought them, and actually still now, at least for me here in Germany, the markers cost 14.99 €. I think the original price is 20.99 €, but what I bought them for, the price for one marker amounts to 83 cents, which is still a lot less than Posca markers, and for the quality they have in the paint and the nibs, they're actually really good for that price. Now the Art RX markers were about 97 cents per marker, which, considering we got 24, is actually 23 to 24 euros. Now I paid around 24. Sadly, the set I got, at least from the listing I got, doesn't exist at the moment. It doesn't seem to be in stock, but they have other options from Artex. So they have like metallic colors, and they have like different colors for the barrels of the markers, but it seems like they're actually the same markers, and they have a larger set of 32 pens. So I would say that yeah, for actually how good they are, and that you don't have to activate them, and that both nibs actually work really well, and the color comes out nicely, I'm gonna say that's worth it too. It is a little bit more than the previous one, but we also get dual nibs, and I think from the size of the bevel, maybe even a little bit more of paint in them. At least I hope so. Sadly, those things can be deceiving sometimes, but yeah, I quite like them. I think it's worth it. Now to, sadly, my least favorite, the Ohuhu. The set of the acrylic markers I got with the 30 colors actually cost $29.99, and that amounts about €1 per marker, but I actually, when I bought it, got it again to a reduced price of €25.49, which is about 80 something cents per markers. Still, it is not the worst, but considering how bad the color was from the like mixture of the pigment to the like liquid and stuff, I really wouldn't recommend them. I know Ohuhu has some different kinds of acrylic markers too. I honestly can't judge them, I've never tried them, so I just hope those are better. But yeah, from my experience with these ones, sadly, I wouldn't like say that you should buy them. And lastly, the Jimiao. These are actually quite cheap as well. Now, at the moment they're at 21.41, but before that they were at 23.79. Now, again, I bought them for 21.41, so all of these reduced prices are there for quite a while. And for what I bought them, it's only 59 cents per marker, which, considering we get 36 markers, that is a really good value. Now, they are pretty nice, and yes, you can use them on plastic too, you will just be able to see the lines a bit more, but the nibs are really nice to use. You get the broad nib for dotting and stuff, and you get the fine nib for details. And as I said, these are my favorite for drawing on paper. They apply really smoothly, they didn't tear the paper at all, they soaked in quite nicely, it didn't have a strange sheen or anything. So if you're actually looking for acrylic markers for paper art stuff, I would actually suggest you getting these. And as I said, they're the cheapest of the bunch, and I would say they're absolutely worth it. Overall, I have to say today's haul went pretty well. Normally when I got cheaper acrylic markers that are like Posca alternatives before, they all were really bad. I had some that were super watery, some where the nibs just were fraying and you couldn't even paint with them and all that. And I tested 4 or 5 brands already. So I was expecting that to happen and only have 1 or maximum 2 good brands, but that actually 3 of them were really good from the pigment. And well, all of them were pretty good from the nibs. Except for maybe Uhuhu, but then again, you need quite a bit of force to actually activate the Uhuhu, so it makes sense that they give you extra nibs to replace them, which is quite good. So yeah, if you have a frayed nib, you can just replace them really easily. So yeah, all of them were quite good. So I can actually suggest practically all of them besides the Uhuhu. Now, I might have gotten a bad batch of markers, so if you have an experience with the same acrylic markers and you found that the Uhuhu ones actually work quite well, then let me know in the comments below. And yeah, that obviously then might be because they have been in store for a long time and just sitting on a shelf or something. I tried to really shake them, but that didn't really help with the pigmentation and stuff at all. But yeah, overall I'm quite content with all the other markers, and I think they're actually quite good for making art. I'm also really happy on how my artwork turned out, and I will definitely use this case for a very long time. Anyways, I hope you found this helpful for a bit cheaper marker alternative to Posca. I hope you liked this video. Let me know in the comments down below what were your thoughts and experiences with other brands of acrylic markers. I hope you have a great day. Bye!